Well, I'm to the point where I'm starting to mount the hardware now on the wing and flap. And I've got these hinges here, and it's basically some square tubing with a threaded rod that pivots inside that little yoke thing there. And on the end here, this was a coupler nut, and I took and rounded it with a grinder and put a little texture on it and from the grinder, and that will help this glue to stick when I put it inside this hole right here that's in the flap. So I cut out these notches here, and that allows this to slide into a box I put in previously, and they just slide right in. Nice snug fit. Okay, there you go. And then after it's slid in, I drilled a hole through it, and then you just set it. Oops, with this set screw, and it's locked in. And what I did is I did that on all three of them, and now I am ready to glue this up inside this hole in the flap and then slide the whole thing together and let the glue dry. Flap adjuster, which is this gadget right here, and it's a handle with a spring-loaded plunger that goes down the length of it here and then engages into this index thing here on the main wing, and that will control the angle of the flap. And I'm doing it a slightly different way this time. I've had some problems in the past on the rare times that it does rain, where this groove that the plunger goes in right here gets wet, and then it swells up, and then the plunger doesn't slide back and forth easily this way. So what I've done this time is I'm making the inside here. I took some plastic laminate for mica and laminated it here on both sides, so if it gets wet it won't swell up. And then I'm going to just stick these together, put that plunger in there, and glue this little block in between like that. And then on top of that, I'm going to glue a piece of 1/4 inch plywood here, and then cut out a rough handle shape like that. And then I'll put another piece of plywood on the bottom, and we'll sandwich this piece of oak, solid oak, in there with these 2/4 inch pieces of plywood. Should make for a stronger handle than my other ones, and also hopefully it will never swell up and screw up the activation of this plunger, because it has to be loose enough for the spring to pull it back and engage into the index to control the flap. So I'm just going to laminate these things up, and then when that's dry I'll just cut out the handle, and that part will be done. I've got the hardware all mounted on the wing, and the controls for the flap are mounted, and everything's working. Start here at the top. I've got one of these hinges on the top and one of them on the bottom, and basically it's just 1/4 inch by inch aluminum bar stock, and it's just screwed onto the top, and then the pivot point is right there where it's screwed in. And then I've got the adjustable side tang here, and this allows me to have different placements of the side hound connection, so I can help balance out the controls on the wing where it pivots. So if I move it forward, there'll be more pressure on the controls. If I move it back, there's less pressure. This is the forestay connection right here, and basically it's just an eye screw with the end welded shut so it can't straighten out under load. Now on the bottom I've got my T receiver right here. This receives the T right in here into this slot, and right here is a little 3/8 by 1/2 inch piece of aluminum, and the T can tip back and forth like this on there, and these keepers keep the T inside this receiver right here. And then further back I've got the flap index bolted to the T receiver, and then I made a flap control handle here. And what this does is you pull on this trigger, and let go of the trigger, which is spring loaded here, and it will slide into one of these indexes. So you can control the flap just like that. And it's kind of nice. You just pull it in, let it go, it locks into the next one because it's being pushed by the spring. So when you go to tack or you want to depower or power up, you're just going to move the flap up. And basically, the more angle, the more slot you get in there, and then the less angle, the smaller the slot, and the less power you'll have. But you can see it creates quite a big slot on the back here. And basically, all we need now is some paint and to set it up and cut the shrouds and make sure everything fits and works right.